Spirit of the Lord spoke to me. Say, son, take over.
Anytime I send him a message, he replies, and then we talk on phone. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. And I'll take you through this story. Being a perfume person, there are certain people's work that you just come across, and your spiritual body tells you. Nature tells you, everything around you combines to tell you that no, that right there is superior. That's a superior work. That's a superior work. And that's what happened to Michael Boadi's perfumes. I didn't see the advert, I didn't see, I didn't see any of that. I didn't see the bottle. But someone wore it, and I knew for a fact that this right here is superior stuff. Whoever is making this is not the man. Forget. This is not, And it was my pastor and my mentor.
Thank you very much.
So it tormented me for so many months. I was thinking, how do I walk up to him and just ask and just ask questions? So I just sort of prayed and asked him, sir, is there a way of perfumes, or what exactly is this fragrance you're wearing? He said, it's one guy called Michael Boadi. I need to go and look for that. And I started my research, and everything I saw was just in my mind. So I'll just nudge to send him a message on Instagram, and in my mind I'm thinking, you just send it, and just be bold about it. You don't expect a reply. It's never going to happen. It will never happen. From when, And I sent the message, and I think a day or two later, I got a reply. And I was looking at my phone like this, and I just went crazy. People were like, what is wrong? What's going on there? I said, you just have no idea. From that moment, we've kept in touch, and every time we spoke, and the things he said to me, I've just been blown away. I've just been so blessed. I've seen my business move because of that. He's inspired some of my fragrances. He's one of the kindest, most humble human beings. You see, he's not living in our world, forget. He's not living in our world. He was telling me yesterday that, I spoke to Donatella, and do you guys know Donatella? So he lives in a world that is not here. Everyone around him is a celeb, an achiever, they've done something. His circle is crazy. Yet, it's not easy for you to do all your business. He has 2 mega gifts. I don't understand, I'll never get it. He has a nose and also a hairdresser. Perfumes and hair that everybody can think about. Everybody. From Kate Moss to Rihanna to Naomi Campbell to name it. And it's not name dropping. If you go to his page, you see like maybe 50 pictures of Kate Moss and you wonder what's going on here. You just call Kate, hey Kate, come here, come compose for picture. That's the kind of person we have here today. And he just looked at me and said, what, I'm going to come. And to the last minute, I'm like, he's actually going to come. Where would you come? Give me 5 good reasons why I should be here. But it's here.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
His hair is actually checking right now. He told me you spent 9 hours making that.
Yeah, they did.
9 hours making that. So I'm just so
facelift.
I'm just so proud. This is one of my proudest moments to tell you to have Michael Boadi stand up.
Thank you.
And he also tell us some things, and at the end of the day, he brought some of his fragrances for us. these are like the 25 left in the world.
Yeah.
You know,
Then no
if you
more
want
after
some
this.
that
Yeah.
you can take with you, you know, sign them personally. This kind of fragrances, let me just warn you, you don't use them, right? You keep them somewhere. Just like, I have one of this, right? So I'm going to hand over to Anna, what you say.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. That's humble. Very introduction to Michael.
Yes.
And Michael is very humble, so that's why we're going to introduce this together.
Yes.
The 7 points of how to create a niche and premium fragrance brand. So we're both really pleased to
Yes,
be here,
we
aren't
are.
we?
Absolutely.
It's very exciting and great to be here and meet you all.
Yes.
So and please sit down.
Please sit down, yes.
So I've been working with Michael in the last couple of years, and we became friends through his amazing fragrances.
Yeah.
When I first smelled one of the fragrances, and it completely blew my mind.
About 10 years ago.
10 years
Yeah,
ago,
10 years
yes, one of the first fragrance brands. And I work in marketing, beauty marketing. I worked for one of the biggest, or the biggest beauty brand in the world for
Nivea.
20 years. And that's how we kind of connected
yeah.
through people in the industry. And so when Adewale says we need to think about what really concise points make up a perfume
Good brand,
brand,
yeah. A niche
a
perfume brand.
niche and
Yeah.
premium
Perfume
perfume brand, we got together to have put them all into 7 points. And these are the 7 points. So I'm going to take you through them in a general sense, but Michael's going to chip in and talk to you about how they relate to what he has created. Because he has created a few brands for himself and for other people through the years. So quite interesting story. So we have decided on 7. We're saying 7 is the magic number, a spiritual number that means that we're in a learning process, and it's for the person who's very dedicated to achieving a higher realms in their understanding and their quest for knowledge. So we liked the number 7.
Yes.
We're going with that. So number 1, advocacy. Advocacy and beliefs. And I think that's the first thing Michael will have started with his brands, the belief in something. And that belief in something goes beyond the actual perfume. So in something like we were looking at Ferrari utterly believed in high performance. Louis Vuitton, they believe in art. And we see in Versace, they also believe, but more classical art, but bringing it into a modern world in quite extravagant ways. That's Versace's sort of belief system. We all know it. So it's got nothing to do with the products are handbags, shoes, etc. But the belief system is some sort of higher concept.
Empowerment.
Yes,
Yeah.
empowerment.
Empowerment.
And so these have come through in Michael's own brands, Boadicea, Illuminum. Do you want to talk about those?
And soon to come House of Valhalla. But basically, when I was starting Boadicea, I had never ever done fragrance before, ever. All I know is that as a kid, I really used to love fragrance. I used to play with flowers and all kinds of things. And I just got bored with the fashion industry because, I mean, how many people's hair can you do? I don't want to be 60 and running around after a 17-year-old supermodel who's just been discovered. So I kind of wanted, to have something for myself, for my future. And I left fashion completely and went and did fragrance. And my first brand was Boadicea the Victorious, which I launched in 2008 in Harrods. They'd never taken on a niche brand like mine. It was the first of its kind. So I launched into Harrods, then Tom Ford followed suit. And Tom Ford and Boadicea were the only brands in the world that dedicated the art of creating the best luxurious oud. Because before then, oud was very Middle Eastern. You take it over to London, people don't like it because they don't understand it. But now it's become commercially viable. So with that said, I just wanted to do something different that no one had ever seen or heard of before. And I was so lucky to actually read about Boadicea, and it happened to be my namesake. So it fitted perfectly, and yeah, that was how Boadicea was started. And it went on to do great things. But as we all know, and this is, you guys really need to listen to this carefully, when you're getting on board with an investor, please do your due diligence, check, make sure. I've been shafted 3 times, but I've learnt from it. It's taken 10 years for me to learn. But it's not the end of the world. Because at the end of the day, it's like in Africa, they say, the women say, I brought you into the world and I can take you out. That's what my mum used to say when I did something naughty. So having said that, it's the same thing that I'm applying to the other brands that I'm continuing to do. I'll make sure I check everyone out first. Never give more than 50% away. Always make sure you have majority shareholding, because these suits, they'll come in, all they do is they wear suits and ties, all they care about are numbers. They have no passion in terms of the product. All they want to do is make money, so yeah.
So I think when that's happening, the higher concept of what you're trying to sell is something that the suits don't understand.
Absolutely.
And it's that utter belief you're not just selling perfume, you're selling a concept as well.
And that's what advocacy is. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this is one of Michael's images.
Actually, Greg did it, because Greg is a graphic designer, very talented. So all the CG pictures, all the CG pictures that you see on my site, he's responsible for them. So, yeah.
Who is that?
Pardon?
Who is that? Do we know that?
No, it's Greg's creation. She's fake. She's not real. She was drawn on the computer. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So with Valhalla, what I want to do is, the store that I'm going to do is going to have a gallery. So it's a proper museum installation of fragrances and images that tie in together. And yeah, that's the reason why we've been working on both digital and real photography. So you're fusing the future with the past, but then with the present as well, without missing any kind of, I don't want to be a fascist when it comes to art. Everyone's welcome, all forms of art are acceptable. Yeah. Yeah.
So point 2 is the detail. And the detail that you want to put in, you can't put every single piece of detail you do, but when there's some piece of detail that surprises the customer, like the red little tag on the Prada bag or shoe, or the red sole of Christian Louboutin's shoe sole, or even a message that you get out of an inner sleeve of a package that says something to you, something lovely, philosophical.
Like your one has Isaiah, doesn't it? Yeah. That's exactly what we're talking about.
Yes, that little piece of detail that surprises someone, and it absolutely speaks volumes to the consumer, and they make a connection, a huge connection with that they then recognise your brand. And I think that's one of the things about Michael's visual work. Have a look at something that has got a little surprise. Yeah. Is it not helpful?
It is, I think it's probably too much light.
I was thinking of tying to Prada.
Yeah.
The red sole, that there's a little splash of red. So just a piece of colour, just a biblical verse, something means something to you.
So that when you see it, you remember. You don't forget it. Yeah.
So yeah, the detail, or a detail that you want to put in, I think just creates such a huge difference. So yeah. Now, this is, I think, is Michael's favourite one, the Brand Temple, which is as a shop. And the reverence of walking into a high-end shop and experiencing something wonderful that's not just about shopping, it's about experiencing a brand, seeing their high concept brought to life, feeling it, smelling it, listening to it, all those things are absolutely unique and something that really works for a brand.
It resonates.
It resonates, absolutely, and people can live it, especially in this day and age of the internet, when you can get this exploration of so many things just sitting at your desk. When you actually go somewhere and it's not just a shop with a rack of products that you can buy, there's something really more religious, shall we say, about it. It's wow, because you're not, it doesn't matter what you buy, because you can go away and buy online. It's actually experiencing the people behind the brand, the things they create, and what they think. Yeah?
Yeah. Should go on to the picture.
Yeah, so. This is one of Michael's stores, Illuminum.
Yeah. So this was the Illuminum store. It was the biggest fragrance retail store in the world. It was 10,000 square feet, 3 floors in a Georgian townhouse right next door to the Ritz, and there's never been anything like it again. And it was absolutely magical because the concept for Illuminum was all about clarity. So you had Boadi, where it's all about history, and this warrior queen saving London from being taken over by the Romans. And then my next one, I just wanted to do something a bit more futuristic. And that's when Illuminum was born. So there are only minimum of 4 ingredients per fragrance. And there were, there were 64 fragrances. So again, I played with the number 4. So you had your floral, was one category. You had your citrus, you had your musk, and then you had your oud. So the customer had 4 options. So if you're talking to a customer and they like flowers, you show them the floral collection. And it really resonated with them because you could almost target what the person wanted without wasting time. Because you always have to think about when they come to the counter, you have to do an instant sale. So you have to show them exactly what you feel they're like. You have to kind of suss them out, so to speak, and then entice them. And you literally have 60 seconds to do that. Or they get, they get, what do you call it? They're not interested anymore. You lose them. So that I have found has been really, really effective for any fragrance or any venture that I do. It's finding a way to engage the customer so you keep them almost tranced. So with Boadi, there was one scent called Pink Lotus, and man or woman, they would go crazy. And then they wanted to discover the rest of the brand and see what else was on offer.
This is the Pink Lotus.
Yeah, which we'll get to later. Yeah. So.
Yes. Also, your next project is, as you say, is going to be like a museum.
It will be. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. But I can't talk about that yet.
Yeah,
soon. I've got to leave something for you to experience when it's time. Yeah.
So we've talked about the in-store, the real-life experience. What if you haven't got a store? I mean, it's utterly possible these days to launch a brand and just sell it on the internet. You don't need a shop really. But really, we were thinking about that experience you have of a brand. Of course, you're buying clothes, you can see them on the internet when you're buying, but actually your fragrance, you can't smell them. No. So there's so many other ways that we can invite the consumer to experience the brand by when they can't smell it, when it's with music, with
film,
fashion, with film,
video,
all those things that are utterly evocative and outside of your brand. They don't have to be inside your, exactly aligned, but it really, if you have a song playing or a video of that song, it reminds them of the smell. It's something that draws them in and makes that connection as well.
It's memory evocation is what I call it. I call it ME. If you smell something like you were saying, it reminds you of, either your childhood, your grandmum, or boarding school in Ghana. And that's what I call memory evocation. And it's really important to kind of factor that into any brand that you do. Again, so you capture the customer, and then if they're back home in Nigeria or whatever, they can call the store, order it online, but they would have experienced it, because what we want to do is create an oasis so that it has to be a must-see. When you come to London, where do you go? What are the interesting places? Harrods, Selfridges. Oh, I've heard about Valhalla. I'm going to go there too because it's next door to Harrods. And that's what you want to do. Then they go and tell their friends about it. And then soon you'll find that you have such a huge following that people just order it directly because they've been able to experience, the whole thing.
So we were also thinking about if this works in other categories, like if you buy a wine, they tell you what food goes with it. And now the wine and food industry is saying, well, you buy some wine and food, but here's the music that goes with it, which would be entirely possible with fashion, but we're saying let's do this with perfume as
fragrance,
well.
Why not?
Yeah. To totally immerse in the brand in all the senses. So,
show the picture, I don't know if you can see it properly, but that was, the first one was a CG of the store. This is the actual picture of the store. That was next to the Ritz on Dover Street. And it was, as I said,
Next point is exclusivity. And I've had a career in PR and marketing, and obviously that desire to get your product to as many people as possible is what we all want. We all want everyone to experience our product. But with Michael, I think the more creating something that might be a really limited edition VIP launch, where you're only going to show a select group of people, and with the days of the internet, that select group of people tell another group of people who tell another group of people, and they all want to be included because it's kind of slightly mysterious, and we've incited their curiosity, and they all want a piece of it.
And this is what I call guerrilla marketing. So it's underground, you create a buzz, you kind of, how do I explain it? You give it in doses, so it's not always ready and available, and it makes people go nuts because they want what they can't have, and they'll do whatever they can to get it. So actually you'll find people paying you it's like the Hermes bag. Women will wait 6 months to a year for it till it's ready. Yeah. So.
And so the mass market brands are pushing out their, please see us pushing out to the customer, and what you can do by just being a little bit holding back and giving it to a select few is actually pulling the people into your brand the other way. And we found the Groucho Marx who said, I don't want to belong to a club that will accept me as a member. And that's kind of where the mass market is, we can take it or leave it, because they desperately want us. But actually, when you've got something and you kind of plan a little strategy of creating some exclusivity, got another piece of Michael's work here.
Yeah, that's Miss Naomi Campbell.
Yes. Yeah, you can create a buzz and a need and a desire just by being exclusive.
And I chose this image because it was one of the anniversary, I think it was a 20th year anniversary for ID magazine. And I thought, well, I spoke to her. I was like, darling, what if I do what do you call it? I get Philip Treacy to do a tomato soup hat that will sit on your head. And she's like, she calls me Michelle, all of them do. She's like, Michelle, I love it. And we got Philip Treacy to do the hat, and we took the picture, and it was a huge internet sensation. The issue sold out in no time. So that's what we're talking about when it comes to being unique and exclusive. You can create a vibe for people to lust after what you have, basically. So.
Yeah, that's the Andy Warhol canvas,
Yeah.
not just any old suit.
Andy Warhol's.
Yes. So the other thing, which I think is a big block to a lot of people's creativity, you fear saying or doing what you want to do. And I think Michael's such a great example of actually believing in something and believing in himself so much that he set out and completely went into the UK and worldwide fragrance market without being a big player, utterly on his own.
And I'll have to tell you, it was not easy. I've slept on people's sofas, even in the last 5 years. I've been through it, but I will never ever let it stop me. Never. Because if I do that, then everyone's won. And I'll be the loser. So what have I got to lose at this point? I've done it before, I can do it again 100 times and make it better. So that's it, yeah.
Yeah, deserve a round of applause for that.
Thank you.
And also Jim Carrey said that his dad spent his whole life doing this job that he hated and saying, no, it's safe. And then the company went bust and he wasn't safe. So Jim Carrey's saying, Jim Carrey, do what you love, do what you've got to do, because the world needs you, and also, there is no safety anywhere.
And also it's like defying your parents. They want you to be, especially in Africa, they want you to be a doctor, a lawyer. I mean, mine were both pissed at me, but now they're happy. They're proud, and they're like, okay, now I get you're crazy. So it's good, but yeah. As Anne-Louise said, you have to stick to it, no matter how hard. Good times, bad times, embrace them all the same, and just keep strong, keep going.
Tell us a bit about Kate. This is Kate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look, I didn't realise that's Kate Moss.
Yes, these ones are really rare. No one ever got to see them, and they were from it was for a Missoni campaign. And again, it was we wanted to make her look unique, make her look like she'd never looked before. Because, as you know, I've worked with her so many times. We've done literally every single look you could imagine. And then we came up with this, and it became, again, really, really special because no one had seen her like that. So again, it's about taking chances and just don't settle for less. That's all I want to say. Don't settle for less. Make sure that everything you do is 100%. You have to. Because then and only then will everyone else enjoy what you've created. And don't do things half-assed, excuse my language. Give it 100%.
Yeah. Good advice. Now, emotion.
That's a good picture.
Yeah. We think that, you know, that, well, it is a fact that when you create some kind of emotion with a brand, whether it's surprise, delight, desire, that's where fear, when you make a connection, and that's when someone is going, you know, I'm feeling this, and that's the same with art, and that's why so many brands use art, because it's not just a picture, it's a picture with feeling. You feel art rather than just a drawing.
Yes.
And you don't have to have art to portray emotion. It can be a story, and also with a story about the endeavours behind the brand. You know, people love to hear about those things and think they've got a little inside scoop about the brand, about how you created it, what your beliefs were behind it, going back to that higher concept thing. So it's the imagery, the story, a little bit of intimacy, and also love.
Yeah. Speaking of intimacy, I will tell 2 short stories. The first one was one of my best friends. I made, I made a special saffron fragrance, and she was in London from Paris. She was the first one to try it. She had to go to the bathroom. And I was like, where did you disappear to and what was going on in there? She said, Michael, I arrived. And that's all I'm going to say. She said the scent took her there. And then the other short story is I had this woman, she again came to the showroom to smell fragrances, and she cried uncontrollably for 2 hours. She said, Michael, you have told me my whole life story within your collection. And for me, I had goosebumps. If you can really get that at someone and make them feel so comfortable and vulnerable and be able to share that vulnerability, it's the most amazing feeling ever. And since then, everything I make, she buys. And she tells her friends about it, she loves it. So yeah. So on that note, that is...
We've got a summary. I want you to tell us about this lady who's having some emotion.
Well, she is Marie Antoinette, basically.
Yeah.
It was a Marie Antoinette story, and basically the photographer said, just do what you do. So she cried in some, she laughed in some of them were very intimate moments of pleasure, whatever you want to say. And again, that's kind of it's a summary of the 7, put in a religious sense without being disrespectful to, to any religion, basically, And that's what you can do when you create art. You can appease many, many people from many different backgrounds.
So we had a little summary of the 7, and there used to be the belief that the way you connected, or the moment of truth with your brand, was when at the point of sale, when someone bought your brand, because before there was only shops and the cash till, the desk, am I going to buy this product or not? But with them, things have moved on now. So there's 3 now moments of truth with your brand. That's when someone first experiences the brand firsthand. So when they pick it up and smell it. And as Michael's just said, it's really sent some people into quite emotional,
very much so.
Little roots where they've gone, which is utterly personal to them, yet it's told a whole story. So, and that doesn't have to be said with the scent, it's your story, it's your images, all those things when they first experience that brand. And then when they buy the brand, obviously, when they actually think, right, now the main have decided now, that's me, I'm going to buy this, and actually have it in their hand. And then it becomes part of them, it's part of your choice of brands that make you up, or products, not known as brands. And then when they talk about the brand, and that's a big thing that people, what they're going to say about your brand. So what does that lady say about your brand? She'd tell everyone, I cried when I first experienced Michael's brand. And I was like, wow, I had to.
I remember.
As well. So it's not unusual that people have those kind of feelings, and you know they're not exclusive to Michael's brand, but I think that's a really special occasion and unique to Michael.
And especially because I did not study to make fragrance. I don't have a degree. I'm not a perfumer from Grasse or any of that nonsense. I call it nonsense because you give me ingredients. I love to cook. I cook Ghanaian very well, all aspects of it. And I can cook any dish, and I do the same approach with fragrance. I get all my ingredients, and I get inspired, and I mix some of this with that, and there. It's really allowed me to create some incredible scents I never thought I could even do, which you experienced some of yesterday. Yeah, those were nothing compared to what's coming out. So yeah, but you just don't let anything stop you. Just do it. You have nothing to lose, you really don't. So what if you fail? You pick yourself up and you get up again and you try. And you keep trying till you get what you want. There'll be someone that I'll see, or someone will drive by in a car. There's beauty everywhere that you go. No matter where you go, there's always something that can, what you have to do is use your third eye and creatively, you almost have to surrender to a higher power and be guided to see beauty that's around you. And mainly that's where my inspiration comes from.
Thank you.
You're most welcome.
How did you feel when you just flew?
To be honest, nothing. No. As I'm standing here talking to you today, that sounds like, okay, it works, great. What's next? Show me the next thing. Ask God to show me the way. Well, I have my eyes open, my heart is open, tell me what I need to do next. And that's how I'm able to create different brands, because it just comes to me. Like I say, walking around, even when I sleep and you dream, if you're able to kind of remember your dreams, even if it's a small fragment, you take that and you do what you do, and that's it. But the most important thing is to open, don't be scared. Don't be scared to try new things, don't be scared to just open up your third eye and your heart and ask for guidance. That's the best advice I can give, because it worked for me. So, yeah.